Coming up on FYI, why is theft such a big issue for us, and how can we keep our stuff safe?
And we meet the members of an under-14s football team who got some coaching from one of the best players in the world.
The first time I saw David Beckham, I was gobsmacked.
Hi there, this is your weekly news show, FYI, where we bring you all the latest info on all the big stories.
Yep, we've got loads coming up this week. But first, Maya, how safe do you feel your stuff is at school? I'm talking about your bike, your laptop, your dinner money, and your phone.
I think my stuff is pretty safe at school. I mean, we've got huge gates and a security guard, so I'd hope it's safe.
Well, listen to this, because police in our cities has said that thieves are targeting kids coming out of school, mainly for their phones. Thomas has been investigated.
Caught on camera, thieves stealing bikes outside of school, sometimes in broad daylight. Some thieves, even on mopeds, go after belongings as pupils head home from school. More than 600 police officers have actually been stationed at schools to reduce crime. But that's not a lot, when you consider that there are more than 30,000 schools across the country. Could the police be doing more? PC Lamptey and PC Myrie are safer school officers. They tour schools to offer advice on how to stay safe from crime. So why don't we see any police officers outside our schools? Surely police officers on patrol would be the best protection for us.
I think seeing police inside school makes it easier for kids to obviously approach us. It breaks down a lot of barriers.
Why don't we see many officers patrolling the streets?
I'm not going to sit and say, you know, we've got enough police officers. We need more police officers.
Do you think it may be because of cutbacks or spending?
There's probably a lot of factors as to why there isn't enough police on the streets. You know, spending, yes, it could be a factor, but it's not the only issue. The more police we have on the street, the better for everyone living in London and obviously in the county forces as well.
While many of us may never experience crime, the advice pupils across the country are being urged to take up is this: be aware of your surroundings. Stay alert. Thieves also use bikes and mopeds to snatch phones and valuables. When walking, keep valuables out of sight. Headphones can be a distraction. Use transport that other pupils are using, and avoid shortcuts in isolated places.
So like us, you might have noticed there's been lots of news about migrants and refugees trying to reach the UK by crossing the English Channel. So we wanted to figure out what exactly is going on.
So they have reached France after fleeing countries across the Middle East and Africa, and they are using small boats to try and reach the UK. It's really dangerous and usually involves criminal gangs of people smugglers helping them. It's been going on for years, but the number of people who have made the journey so far this year is nearly 40,000, compared to the 28,461 in 2021.
Now, here's the issue. Many are fleeing war or danger in their home country and genuinely need our help. But others are simply hoping for a better life. They're taken to migrant centres until better accommodation can be found while their case is investigated.
But the system has been struggling to cope.
Check out these pictures of a girl throwing a message in a bottle over the wall of a migration centre to journalists. The letter asks for help and describes the conditions inside like being in prison. For now, coaches are taking migrants and refugees to other centres to ease the overcrowding, but the row over how to deal with the English Channel crossings seems far from over.
Now, for years, FYI has been reporting on how some of you guys have been sent home from school for wearing your hair in a natural Afro style. Well, from now on, things are about to change, as pupils with Afro hair will be protected by law against discrimination. A new guidance has been released to schools by the Equality and Human Rights Commission, whose job is to make sure anyone in the UK is treated equally.
Well, we're joined now by Kyla, who took part in World Afro Day back in September.
Hi Kyla, so thank you so much for joining us. And obviously it's great news, isn't it? But am I right in saying that your school supported you from the start?
Well, when I started the movement in my primary school, it was very encouraging and very supportive.
How specifically were they supportive?
Well, we always had World Afro Day, and in Black History Month we had a week dedicated to a certain person, and a certain moment in Black history.
So what's it been like having Afro hair growing up?
There was never really enough representation for Afro-haired children, and I was very unhappy with the way I looked and how my hair looked. I think it's definitely gotten better, but I think we can always improve with more like Afro characters. It was always Elsa and Anna.
Yeah, definitely.
So how much of a struggle do you think it's been for others with Afro hair?
I think many of the struggles have been like people trying to touch your hair and commenting on it. And I think some advice could be to always just be yourself and never let anybody else tell you how it should be.
That's really good advice. Thank you so much for joining us, Kyla.
See you later. So while loads of world leaders have been meeting in Egypt for COP27 to discuss how to tackle our climate crisis, we thought some of you should have a voice on how to save our planet.
There are loads of amazing things that everyone can do, from large-scale inventions to just everyday changes that we can all make to do our bit. For example, have you ever thought about where your food comes from?
Here's one of the UK's youngest environmentalists, Anishwa.
What can we do here in the UK to make sure our food, what we're eating, isn't harming the planet? Well, one idea is to grow food in your garden like this pear tree. And my mum and dad have made me a greenhouse. Let's go and look at it. Whoa, this thing is very lush. And I think I found a cucumber. There he is. He hasn't been plucked off yet. I know a lot of people don't have gardens like ours, but you can even grow stuff in a window box like strawberries, baby carrots, or even salads. One of the reasons our climate is changing is, unlike my pears, most of our food has been transported from all over the globe. Think of all those ships, all the lorries bringing our food into our supermarkets. They use fossil fuels like diesel. That is really bad for the environment. To show you what I mean, I'm going to do a little experiment. Down here, we have a load of things that my mum and dad have bought from the local supermarkets. And over here, we have a map of the world to show where everything comes from. So these green beans are from Kenya. Okay, let's leave it there. Let's get a pin and let's put it right in Kenya. So what do we have next? We got kiwis from New Zealand. That's really far away. Apples from Italy. Asparaguses, yes, from Peru. That's where Parenton lives. A cucumber from Spain. And tomatoes from Morocco. That is so weird because we already have tomatoes in my back garden. So how many miles have all this fruit and veg travelled to get to my house? Well, I've been doing some sums on my dad's calculator, and guess what? It adds up to 102,590 miles. That's about the same distance as travelling around the world 4 times. Wow! There's got to be a better way to get our food, right? Well, maybe we just need to build a greenhouse like mine, but make it humongously huge. A bit like this one. This is one of the biggest greenhouses in the UK, just outside Norwich. It's the same size as 26 football pitches. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. The man who runs this place is called Chris, and I really want to ask him some questions. How can a giant greenhouse like this help to save the planet?
Because by growing like this, we can save 60% of carbon emissions by not importing food from other places.
Is it just that the food doesn't need to travel that far? Or are there different ways why this place is eco-friendly?
Well, what we do, we harvest every drop of rainwater to feed the plants, and because of this, we hardly use any pesticides. And then there's one other big secret, but you have to go down the road to see that.
That sounds very mysterious. Huh? Why have I been brought to the local sewage works? When you flush your toilet at home or when you have a shower, the wastewater ends up at a place like this. It's a little bit stinky, but I don't know what this is about with tomatoes and cucumbers.
So those crops in that glass house, they require heat to grow. And the amazing thing is that when we have treated water on this site, we take the heat from that treated water and send that to the glass house.
Did you say the heat from our wheat is used to grow salad?
That's an amazing fact. So when you flush the toilet, that comes to this site as dirty water, and then it's got heat in there, and we use that heat for those crops to grow.
That is amazing! So the heating system in the greenhouse is using hot water that would otherwise have been wasted. It's basically a way of growing healthy food that isn't causing as much damage to our planet. If every country does this, it will make a huge difference.
Now we've got some really exciting news.
We've got a new presenter. This is Jeriah, and he's joining the FYI team. Here he is now to tell you a bit more about himself.
Hi, my name's Jeriah and I'm going to be presenting for FYI. This is going to be one of my first times going into the studio. Come with me. Some things you should know about me is that I am a BAFTA Young presenter. I won the competition. I love dancing. I've been dancing ever since I've been in my mum's belly. Ever since I've come out, I've just loved moving to the music. What was that? Anyway. One story I'd love to do for FYI would be about the conflict in Congo. A lot of my family are there, so it means a lot to me.
And don't worry, you'll be seeing Jeriah again very shortly. But first, Brayden, you play football, right?
Yeah?
Could you do some extra training, maybe from a pro?
What do you mean?
Well, imagine this. You're in a team and it's under 14s and the goals just aren't happening. And then in walks one of the best players in the entire world. That's exactly what happened in a new TV series called Save Our Squad.
And the player we're on about is only David Beckham. He stepped in to turn around the fortunes of the Westwood boys, who hadn't won a game all season. Here's Jeriah with more.
This is where it all began for David Beckham, playing in the under-14s league right here in East London. He went on to play for some of the biggest clubs in the world and play for England. His 20-year career had some ups and downs, but he is by far one of the best players we've had. Beckham has returned to East London to try out at an under-14s club, which is at the bottom of their league. But this isn't just any league, it's the one he played in when he was 14.
I grew up in East London. This is where it all began for me.
This new Save Our Squad sees David Beckham face his biggest footy challenge yet.
All right, boys.
Turning around the fortunes of Westwood Boys FC, who desperately need help. The under-14 side haven't won a single game in the season.
Westwood Boys, they are the team at rock bottom.
We're losing constantly.
8-0, 9-0.
Oh, that's not good.
I met Kuro, Orlando and Gio at the launch of the series. I am dying to know what it was like to have David Beckham as a coach.
First time I saw David Beckham, I was gobsmacked. As soon as I saw him, I fell off the seat in the changing room.
It was wild to see one of football's biggest icons walk into the room. It's another feeling.
What advice would you give to anyone who wants to play?
I think you should just go for it, because at first I didn't like football at all, when I was younger. But when it hit 7, 8, I just started trying. After, you'll eventually fall in love with the game.
If you want to do it, follow your dreams, but you can't go in half-hearted. You have to put in all the effort to get the full outcome that you want.
This team is a community.
Off the pitch, David Beckham gets to know the players' families to find out more about the challenges they face in one of the most diverse parts of the UK.
For him to go on a whole professional career and then come back to give back to the people that are in his community is one of the main things that he's learned.
So thank you so much for letting me guys interview. It's been such an honour.
And if you want to catch more FYI, just head to our webpage at first.news/FYI.
Well, that's it for today.
See you next time. Bye.